Okay. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought I'd be better at this than I am. In my head, on the way here, I had a complete picture of how today was going to go. And in that picture, I was considerably more competent than I currently appear to be. The clay is doing something I didn't authorize. And I'm choosing to believe that's a beginner experience and not a me experience specifically. Don't look at mine yet. Look at yours. Focus on yours. Actually, wait. Look at what you just did. No, genuinely, look at that. You centered it. You actually centered the clay on the first try. And I have been sitting here for the last 4 minutes, having what I can only describe as a negotiation with mine. And yours is already centered. How did you do that? What was the technique? Describe it to me exactly, because I need to know what you did differently. Your hands just... You have good hands for this. I've always thought that, actually. Your hands are very capable in a way that I find quietly extraordinary. Now I have evidence. Keep your hands wet. The instructor said that. Keep adding water so the clay stays cooperative. I wrote it down in my head as the key piece of information from the demonstration, and then immediately didn't do it. And now my clay is trying to escape, which I feel is a direct consequence. Is the wheel speed okay for you? You can slow it down with the pedal. Right, just ease off a little. There. Do you hear how the sound changes? Lower. More like breathing. I like that pace. It feels less like machinery and more like something alive. Can I tell you what I love about this already? And I know we've been here for approximately 11 minutes, so perhaps this is premature, but I don't think so. I love that it requires your full attention. Not partial attention. Not the kind where half of you is somewhere else. Your complete, physical, present attention. Because the moment you stop paying attention, the thing you're making lets you know. Immediately. Without judgment, but without mercy. I find that clarifying. There's something about a material that responds directly and honestly to what you give it that I find deeply satisfying. No pretense, no lag, just immediate, tactile truth. Also, I find watching you do this quite compelling, and I want to acknowledge that openly. Walk me through what you're doing. Teach me. You've clearly accessed some natural instinct for this that I have not yet located in myself, and I want to learn from you specifically. Not from the instructor, from you. Describe your hands. Describe the pressure. Right. And you're not pulling, You're more guiding. I see. It's less about force and more about direction. That's interesting, because I've been approaching mine as a strength exercise, and I think that explains quite a lot about why it looks the way it looks. Less force, more intention. Okay, I'm going to try that. That's better. That's okay. I can feel the difference actually. When I stop trying to make it do something and just suggest the direction instead, it cooperates more. It's responsive. It just wants to know where it's going. I feel like there's a metaphor here, but I'm going to let it breathe rather than overstate it. This smell. I want to acknowledge the smell of this place because I've been aware of it since we walked in, and it's doing something to me. Earth and water, and something old about it. Something that feels like it's existed before buildings did, before anything did. Clay is one of the oldest materials humans ever worked with. Did you know that? People have been sitting at wheels like these, not exactly like these, the wheels were different, but doing this exact motion, coaxing this exact material into shape for thousands of years. We're doing something ancient right now. In a pottery class on a Saturday afternoon. I find that genuinely moving. You're rolling your eyes. I can see it in your peripheral vision. I stand by the observation. Oh, yours is becoming something. I can see the shape now. There's a definite shape emerging, and it's good. The walls are even, or close to even, and the base looks solid. And I think what you're making is going to be a real object that exists in the world when this is done. You can keep it. We can take it home. Where would you put it when it's glazed and fired and finished? Where does it live? I think it should live somewhere you'd see it every day. I think things you make with your own hands deserve to be seen regularly. They're different from things you buy. They have your fingerprints in the clay, literally. The marks of the exact pressure of your specific hands. And that's not nothing. That's something worth looking at. Mine is attempting to be a bowl. Whether it succeeds in that ambition remains to be seen. I've committed to the vision, though. We're aligned, the clay and I. We've come to an understanding. It's going to be a bowl. A somewhat rustic bowl. A bowl with character. I'm going to give it to you when it's done, and I want you to keep it, even if it's imperfect. Especially if it's imperfect. I want you to have something I made badly and with enormous effort and complete sincerity on an afternoon in a pottery studio. And I want it to sit next to whatever beautiful thing you're currently making. And I want them to be a set. The good one and the sincere one. Together. How are your shoulders? You've been leaning in quite intently, and I want to check on your body as well as your bowl. This position is a little unusual. Bent forward, arms extended, the particular kind of concentration that makes everything else in you go still. Beautiful to watch from here. Probably not ideal for your back over a long session. Roll them back when you get a moment. You can keep the wheel going, just roll them back and take a breath. The bowl will hold. I love that everyone in here is doing the same thing right now. All these different people, all these different pairs of hands, all coaxing the same material into all these different shapes. And none of the shapes are wrong. That's the thing about clay. There's no wrong shape. There are shapes that don't hold, and shapes that crack in the kiln. There are structural failures, but there's no wrong. There's just what the hands made and what the material allowed. I want more afternoons like this. Not necessarily pottery, though I'm open to returning once I've practiced and can come back with more dignity. But afternoons like this in structure. Afternoons with no screen, no noise, no particular place to be. Just something to make. Just your hands doing something real. Just the two of us, side by side, in a warm room with natural light, doing something that asks everything of your attention and nothing of your anxiety. Those afternoons are good for you. I can see it in you right now. The particular quality of someone who is entirely present. You look so settled. You look like every other thing that usually sits behind your eyes has been temporarily relocated, and all that's left is the clay and the wheel and the making. I want to give you that feeling as often as I can find ways to give it. Look at that. Yours is finished, or close to it. Come off the pedal and just look at what your hands made. From nothing. From a lump of gray earth. Your hands did that. Those exact hands made that specific thing, and it didn't exist before today, and now it does, and it's going to outlast this afternoon and this week, and possibly quite a long time after that. You made something real today. I'm so glad I brought you here. I knew I would be. I had a feeling about today from the moment I booked it. But I'm still glad in a way that feels fresh and specific. This version of you, covered in clay and completely here, is one of my favorites so far. And there have been a lot of favorites. This one's near the top.